let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, Vaibhav.
Okay. So as Shravanti mentioned that I'm going to give you a detailed description about the cloud security posture management. And so this is about myself. It's as everyone is aware about, my name is Vaibhav and I have 12 years of IT experience, and I'm working as a security champ and currently working as a security engineer for one of the project in ThoughtWorks here. And my area of interest is like DevSecOps and threat modeling and other security things. So I have not written much here. So please excuse me for that. So as a part of cloud security posture management, so what are the agenda is like, what is cloud security posture management, why we need to go for it, and how does it work, and what is the benefit we are getting, and there are other security tools available like CASP, CCWPP, and CNAP. So what is the difference between each one of them, and the list. And so multiple cloud providers provide their CSPM tools, but we do have like cloud agnostic tools, like we have for monitoring, like yeah. And then so I will be covering a couple of cloud native tools like MS Defender for cloud in Azure, and then AWS Security Hub. And due to my interest, I've taken one of the tool that's a Puja, which is by Sneak. So this is what we have. And the last is the conclusion why we need to go for at the end of this one, and then question and answer in between as well, and during at the end of the session as well. So what is cloud security posture management? So as per the Gartner, which is actually defining the standards in IT industry, so it is a continuous process of a cloud security improvement and adaptation to reduce the likelihood of a successful attack. So this means like this definition means like it's continuously checking your cloud resources and keep on updating about the remediations and other processes to minimize the risk of attack, and then adaptation to reduce the likelihood of attack. So as we know, like in a cloud environment, we do have like got a lot of alerts like a brute force attack or ransomware attack, or like and if we keep S3 bucket unintended and keep our all customer data, so you must have seen like a lot of incidents where the customer data got exposed because of the poorly configured configurations and all. And the earlier when it so it's actually a it's an advanced version of a cloud security posture assessment. So this was initially it was just for reporting, but now as we cloud improves, as we see keep on adding a lot of resources and keep up a lot of new technologies are introduced in cloud from the vendors and all. So we have added a lot of things like threat detection, risk remediation, DevOps integration, and all. So the CSPM is a class of security tools as defined by Gartner, include use cases for compliance monitoring, DevOps integration, incident response, risk assessment, and risk visualization. So this means like so when we create a cloud resources, so we always try our best, like we are keeping all the best security standards and best possible uses, like we go for the standard for S3, where we will get most of the benefit for S3 bucket and all. But there are other things like the versioning and the log monitoring, as well as the encryption and all those things. So suppose if we miss any of them, and if we keep the resources as it is, and then we will not be able to go back and see each and every S3 bucket, like what about settings we have given. So this CSPM tool is actually like collecting all the resources and present you a GUI where you can see a dashboard where you can see all the resources, which I will be showing you in Azure MS Defender, AWS Security Hub, and as well as the future tool as well. And as I said, like it automates the identification and remediation of the risk policies, risk across cloud infrastructure, including, so it covers all IaaS, software as a service, and the PaaS tools. So IaaS like VMs and all, database and all, SaaS as a service, like we have like Office 365 and all, and the PaaS services like Lambda functions or Azure functions and all. So, and event hubs and all. So these are the PaaS services which we are using. So, okay. Any questions on the definition so far? If not, okay. And why do we need a CSP? So as we know, like suppose most of the clients are adopting the cloud, and they are also trying to move their resources from on-prem to cloud, and also the number of resources keep on increasing. So it's like in an exponential rise. So it's very difficult for the organizations to keep a track of all the resources. Like suppose if I have created multiple resources, so how do I keep a track of it? So even though I'm preparing a best using a best practices and all, so this addresses a couple of issues, the issues which I'm mentioning here in the below points, by continuously monitoring risk in the cloud through prevention, detection, response, and prediction of where the resource may appear next. As multiple cloud providers have come up and they have given the API-driven approach, so we can use the APIs like SDKs to create our resources through CLI or through CI/CD tools or like through the portal itself and all, and it's helping us to create the resources on the fly, but it's also making us difficult to programming misconfiguration. So a couple of most of the organizations are going for IAC tools like a Terraform coding or like CloudFormation or ARM templates and all. So we are creating all the resources through that, but sometimes we may miss some of the best security practices also in the tools. And by mistake, if we do that and then we keep the resources unattended, and it's leaving the resources open to the vulnerability. So the example is like if we create an EC2 and add the quad zero and then keep it as it is, the hacker will try to get an access, and if he tries to get an access, he may get further access by the roles, and then he will try to assume roles and get to something, or like he may do some bit mining and other operations. And as I said, like the data breaches resulting from misconfiguration. So like if you keep S3 bucket unattended or any data attended, it will be like a hackers will get a chance to do the data breach, as we have seen, and it caused a lot of financial data and the legal liability for the organization as well. And the continuous compliances. So the compliance term here is like when we look, go for the CI's benchmark or AWS basic benchmark or other benchmarks. So what it does, like the CSPM tool will actually use this, the continuous compliance of cloud apps and the workload, which is impossible to achieve using a traditional or on-premises. So when we look into the on-prem, so we have the limited number of resources, and then we know what is the resource ID and what is the IP address and all. Then we can use our automation scripts and then scan it. But in cloud, it is really difficult because we are adding a lot of resources on every day, modifying and deleting it. So the inventory is also getting impacted, getting as an incremented or decremented on a daily basis. So it is difficult to use the like on-premise like scanning or Nagios and all those things. And the challenge in implementing the cloud governance. So the governance like visibility, permission, policy information across the business units, and the lack of knowledge about security controls, which grow alongside cloud adoption. So as the if we don't follow any of these best practices and we keep on adding, so without knowing how to implement the best features like encryption, where to implement encryption, whether at the rest or at in transit, or like how to protect the volume, or like how to allow the VMs to restricted networks and all. So if we don't have the visibility, permission, policy enforcement and all, it will keep on creating a problem and implementing the governance. And the traditional security practice will not work because the manual processes. So it was still some of the company organizations were running the manual process and all, which does not scale at the speed that we are deploying the cloud resources. So that's why we go. So CSPM will try to cover all of them through prevention, detection, response, and prediction. So, so I will be covering like how it will do that. So in the next slide. Okay. So how does a CSPM works? So basically, like we have seen, like it works with the prevention, detection, response, and prediction. But how does it works? So it so basically what they do is like they make a use of the APIs provided by the underlying cloud providers. So they will try to use their SDKs and they get the list of all the resources. So they will be like defining the list of policies like a CS benchmark or Azure benchmark policies and all. And then they get the list of all the resources in the subscription, like in case of Azure, and account in case of AWS, and then project in case of Google Cloud Platform. and then it will scan all the resources and match and check it against the policies which they have defined, the best security policies, and then give you a GUI, a dashboard where you can see all the resources with the security posture, what is the threat, and then what is the process to remediate. And so as I said, like, it's the core compatibility is the compliance monitoring, so, and the DevOps integration. So when you have the got some recommendations, like you like a S3 bucket should not be public, so it has some recommendations, so you can integrate it with like a event hub, event bridge, and then you can call a cloud, you can either send a notification to the concerned team to change the properties from their end, or like you can use AWS Lambda to automatically check it to fix the issues. And the configuration monitoring, so whatever the resources we are creating, what's the configuration and all. And then this is the important thing, this is the asset inventory. So it keeps on checking all the resources and maintain the list of all the resources available in that particular subscription or account and all. And the risk assessment, so it will just validate compliance monitoring and then the risk assessment. And so suppose if S3 bucket is like a public access, so it's a huge high risk, it will categorize it against the high risk and then low and medium accordingly. And then the incident response, so we can integrate it with the SIEM tools like a security information and event monitoring tool, like Sentinel or Security Hub and other tools. And then it will help to send the tickets to the concerned team, like this is what happened, and then we have to fix it around based on that. So it performs a couple of things like the discovery and visibility. So it keeps on scanning all the resources and visibility. It will give you a list of all the resources available in a single dashboard. So you need not have to go to multiple places to see where all the resources are there. And the misconfiguration management and remediation. So as we have created the resources, it will check all the resources, their best properties against the policies and their best possible configuration. And then it will tell the remediation. Okay, this is like a so suppose in case of like keyword, Azure keyword. So if we have to enable the diagnostic settings at all, so we have to go to the properties and then enable the log analytics, but select the log analytics workspace and send all the logs to there.
Aditya.
I'm sorry if I have someone is having question. Okay, I'm sorry. No. And the continuous threat detection. So as I said, like, it will continuously monitor all the resources, check with all the compliance monitoring, and then it will send a threats like whether there's anyone try to get access to your buckets or VM or anything. I will show you this how the threats look like, sample alerts I have, and the DevSecOps integration. So as I said, like if you have to remediate something, so you can send an email, or you can either call the functions or like a serverless functions like Lambda and all to mitigate those risks. And the incident responses, you can push all the CSPM logs to the CM tool, and then from there you can write the queries and then create alerts or like automation rules based on the incidents. And you can also categorize it as per like high, medium, and raw, and what's the and it's like you can go as per the client SLA, like what's the SLA and all those things. That's as per the process. Any questions on the how the CSPM work? Okay, I will move to the next slide. So what is the benefit here? So as I mentioned, like most of the attacks are like there are two types of attacks in the cloud. One is the unintentional attack. So when we create the resources, we don't keep S3 bucket and like remember whether we have given the public access, remove the public access, or we have not attached the policies and all, like a bucket policies and all. So that is unintentional. And those unintentional attacks, mistakes become intentional attacks. So intentional attacks is like brute force attacks or malicious insiders, or someone is trying to steal your data from the database or the S3 bucket and all, and then that leads to the business loss and the legal liabilities to the customers as well. So as of now, the most of the cloud providers are focusing on the intentional attacks. So when there is a brute force attack, so they have come up with something called like WAF, AWS Shield, or like AWS application gateway, and Azure firewall, and AWS firewall manager, and similar things we have in GCP as well. So to mitigate all this, but unintended risk are more dangerous because we sometimes forget to do that, and that will obviously lead to the intentional attack. So as we know, like as an even if we implement best practices, the attacks will happen. So it's our responsibility to mitigate all those risks. It's a joint collaboration between the cloud providers and us and all. So as I mentioned, like how the CSPM works, so a couple of benefits which is giving is a continuous visibility of multi-cloud environment. So under a like a one cloud tool, you can have a like a visibility of multi-cloud. Like so in a MS Defender, you may have like you can also monitor AWS Cloud and GCP. Similarly, for AWS Security Hub, you can monitor Azure and GCP cloud environment as well. And but for that, you need to do some settings and all. And the optional ability to perform automated remediation of misconfiguration. So suppose if there is any like EC2 instance which is having open to internet, so but yeah, and that is like got some lot of vulnerabilities, and you think like that may be a chance for the what you say attack and all, so you can at automate response. So I will be showing about this one in a couple of minutes. And as I mentioned, and I also mentioned about the policies. So CSP use the pre-built compliance libraries of common standards sort of practice like CS Foundation, Benchmark, SOC 2, PCI, NIST, HIPAA, and all, and to make sure. And some of the countries have their own regulations, so you can also apply those policies if you are creating any resourcing in their environment in that region. So you can have that. And then CSPM also reduce alert fatigue because the alerts will come through one system rather than a six. So as you see, like when we have, so that is something like if you have like a multiple tools here, so multiple tools will send an alerts. So it will be very difficult for you to like a toggle between the windows and all. Okay, so suppose if you get any alert from another one tool, you fix the issue and then you mark it resolved there, and then another tool send it another alert. But CSPM, what CSPM does is like it will overcome all these multiple tools and all, and it will provide you a single window where you can go ahead and fix the issues, and then and also remove the false positive. So suppose if you are doing any scanning of ports, like a penetration testing, and also AWS Guard Duty will send a lot of alerts and all. So you can either fix that at the Guard Duty, but you can also like fix the alerts at the CSPM level as well. It's the benefit. And any questions on the benefits of CSP? Okay. So now there are many tools available in um, marketplace, and a couple of them are like the CSP, CWPP, CSPM, and CNAP. So what is the difference between them? The CASP, it is essentially a firewall for the cloud services. So it basically sits between your AWS. So it basically sits between your what do you say, the cloud providers and the on-prem systems and the cloud services. And it provides a security policy enforcement gateway to ensure that the user's actions are authorized and compliant with the company security policies. So this is mainly for the SaaS services. So when you have Office 365, so if you have aware of Office 365, you have you can also set some policies like who will be allowed to do what, and then you can integrate it with AD and create the policies across it, and then you can enforce it. So it's basically for the SaaS services. And the next so it's so what it does is like it consolidate the CSP consolidated multiple types of security policy enforcement such as authentication, single sign-on, authorization, credential mapping, and device profiling, encryption, tokenization, logging, and other things. So this is basically happening at the SaaS services as well. Now the second thing is the cloud workload protection platform. So what it does is like it will actually provides a workload security protection solution for all the workload in like physical servers, virtual machines, containers, and the serverless workloads. So it will provide a single pane of glass for the visibility and protection across the so a couple of tools like AWS Inspector at all. So it will scan all the physical VMs, all the AWS VM instances. So we have like a intrusion prevention IPS tools and all, which we run on the any on-prem servers, and then it will collect the data from there, and then it will give you a visibility like what are the applications running it? Are we missing anything? So suppose in a Linux machine, so port 22 is open. So you can the root should not be ever password protection should be enabled for the root should login should be disabled or the and there should be when you log into user, so it should be either through password or any key protection. So you can put all those things to the CWPP. So the workload protection platform will provide you those features. Now coming to the CSPM, so as I've explained, it's it provides the workflow from outside by accessing the secure and compliant configuration. So it will work at the both IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS platform and all. And the CNAP is nothing but a combination of both CWPP and all. It's an advanced version of CWPP and all, and it can scan the workloads and configuration in development. So it will scan your both all the SaaS plus platforms and then protects at the runtime. So I have not got much chance to explore more on the CNAP for now, but like maybe I can take a session later on it later. So any questions on the difference between these tools? Okay, so that's what I was actually explaining in the previous slide. So the SASP tool sits on the SaaS platform where you can have like a user profiling, the tokenization and and all, and then you can put policies control in place, like who should be able to do what at all. And the CWPP mainly for the IP, so it's mainly for the workloads like containers, your Kubernetes, and then your virtual machines and the physical machines and all. And the CSP basically covers both PaaS and IaaS services as well as the SaaS. So it will run continuously monitor all the resources. So any questions for me? All right. So as I mentioned, like a lot of there are a lot of cloud agnostic tools are available. So a couple of the tools. So as I've referred this site, and I've got a list of couple of tools like by Lacework and the Checkpoint and the Sneak, the Fuse and ThreatStack and the Trend Micro Hybrid Cloud Security, BMC Helix Cloud Security, and Cloud Checkr CMX and the system. So they perform the same operation. So I have actually covered like how the tools work in a CSPM, how the CSPM works. So most of the tools work the same. They make a use of like a cloud when provided cloud provider APIs, like for AWS API, Azure API or GCP API and all, and then they scan the resources as per the policy set by these vendors itself, and then it will provide you a single pane of window where you can see what are the configured resources and all, which of them are not compliant, which of them are open to attack and all. It will categorize them as a high and all, and it will give you the list. So I will be showing it in a some time. So the demo part. So far, so I have covered like how does a CSPM tool look works and all, but I'm going to show you like how does it look like and what are the things we can see. So I'm going to cover this MS Defender Cloud. So it's a tool by Microsoft and Azure. So what it does is like it continuously access your resources, and then it will let you know the security posture, and it will identify and the track vulnerabilities, and then it will harden the resources based on that resources based on the like Azure security benchmark and the CIS benchmark and other benchmarks as well, and then it will defend. So it will detect and resolve threats to the system. So this is actually like it will provide you the security enhancement plan where you can enable the services across the resources like virtual machines, database, app services, Azure storage, and all. So I will be showing you. So as I had mentioned, like it strengthens the security posture of your cloud resources and with its integrated plans. And then it will provide the resources in Azure and hybrid. So we can use this MS Defender for AWS and GCP resource environment as well. And it provides the tools to harden your resources, track your security posture, and protect against cyber attacks and streamline security management. So I will have to minimize the screen, and then I have to take you to the Azure portal here. So this is MS Defender for Cloud. So So most of the CSPM tools in a cloud provider, they are not enabled by default, and they do incur some charges, and also it's so for first 15 days or 30 days, it's on a trial version. But as you grow further, so it's always recommended to have these tools in place for your security posture and all. So as I mentioned, like it will CSPM tool, what it does, it will just provide you a single pane of window where you can have like all the resources in place. So I have only one subscription. This is my test account, and I have only one subscription. And these are the 12 resources which I have, and I've got the 4 recommendations, and these are the security alerts. So these are the sample alerts and all. And this is security score. So as you can see, as I mentioned, like it's hybrid cloud access. So it will go for your on-prem or GCP. So you have to use the Azure Arc services so that it will take care of. So there are a couple of settings which is required. So I have not tried that, but like in case if you are interested, then you can try this. So, and then what's the workload protection? How many high incident alerts are there? And this is where it's the interesting part is the inventory. So this is actually tells if I am a user, I'm having a lot of resources in Azure, and I want to see how many resources I have in each subscription and all. So it will take me to, I can go to the inventory simply here and see what are the resources here. And then we have a regulatory compliance. And then we have like information protection. So, and the firewall manager and the other things. And then here you have like a relevant recommendations. So what are the best practices you can do and all. So let me take you to the first part is like the security posture here. So how does it looks like here? It will scan my subscription. It will give me an environment like these are the 2 my management groups. This is the 1 subscription, and out of 12, 4 are unhealthy resources, and I have to have 18 recommendations. So I can have an option to see the recommendations here. So and similar thing, it will come for the GCP and AWS. Coming to the recommendation part here. So it will scan the resources, and then so you can see like this green light here. So they are healthy and unhealthy resources. So I will spend some time on the unhealthy resource here. So we have what is finding here by the policies that the secure transfer for the storage account should be enabled. And out I have 5 storage accounts, but it has scanned all the 5 resources storage accounts, and it has pointed me which resource is having. So when I clicked on it, it can tell me this is the storage account, right? And these are the recommendations. So it will also tell the recommendation here. So you have to go to storage account and configuration page, and then you have to enable this secure transfer. And also we have an option like a fix to launch or remediation. So suppose if you want to remind this to the sub team or anything, so I can trigger logic app here. So logic app is like again it will get all the data from the thing, and it's mainly for your software. It's one of the SaaS application where you will be defining like what will happen if any threat detect, and then what are the data you have to collect, and then how and what next, like whether you want to send it alert or email at all. So as of now, I have triggered email notification to my personal account. So when I trigger it, it will send an email. Okay, so this is again a quick fix, so which I can okay, so I have not tried this quick fix, but this is something which we can transfer. Now coming back to the recommendation here, so it will actually scan your all the resources. So as I said, like the keyword, so whatever operation we are doing, like activity logs and all. So if you want to track all the activity logs and then monitor any malicious activity at all, so you can send all the logs to the log analytics workspace here in Azure, and then based on the query you can set like analytics rule and then automation rule, and then you can again use the logic apps here to send an email or create an alert for it and then send it to the concerned team. So this is something we can do. And there is one more unhealthy resources, like implement best security practices. So it has telling like all the subnets should have their associated network security group and external accounts with read. So all the accounts should there should not be any third party account like account who is accessing your Azure subscription and all. And the multi-factor authentication should be enabled on accounts with the read permission. So if I have as a logged in as a reader and if I'm going to monitor, the MFA should be there. So similar, we have MFA should be for the accounts with the right permission on the subscription. So right permissions means like I should be able to create, modify any resources and all. And there should be always more than one owner. So in case if your account is compromised, subscription, any of the resources compromised, if you have only one resource, if it has happened due to that, you still have one more owner from where you can at least remove that another owner and remove his all RBACs and all. And then you can avoid your further damage to that subscription and other resources. And what happens like when you have any high severity alert happen, so email notification should go to the concerned team and all. So these are the recommendations. And then protect against the DDoS attack. So as you are using a keyword or storage account and all, or virtual machines and all, so DDoS protection is there. So we have like AWS Shield and all, and then we have like a WAF and all, and then we have a AWS Azure DDoS protection should be enabled. And the next policy is like unhealthy. So storage accounts should not be have a public access, and it should be on the private link connection. And if you are using a keyword on a, like exposed to internet, and also you should be having firewall to protect it, or like you can move it to the endpoint. So if you move it to endpoint, then this firewall will not be relevant here. And the next thing is like the enhance. So many, so as I mentioned in my slide, the Defender is a integrated Defender plans. So what it does is like, so we have a couple of services. So this is one. So when we go to the environment settings in the MS Defender, we can see list of all the subscriptions. So as of now, I have only one. So you can go here and you can enable the Defender plan, the enhanced security plan for all the servers. And then app services, database, containers, key vault, resource manager. So resource manager is mainly for all the API operations happening in the Azure. So you should not have and DNS. So any name resolution and all. So these are the plans. So you can enable this plan, and then Defender will scan all the resources based on that, and it will start giving you the recommendation. So this is the I have covered the recommendation part. And now coming to the security alerts. So as I mentioned, so it provides the track your security posture, protect against cyber attacks, and streamline your security posture. And then this part is like the one you see like defend. So it detect and resolve threats to this one. So there are a couple of threats available. So like this is someone, one of the storage and okay. So this is one of the alert. So if you have not configured your storage bucket account properly, like you have kept it as a private public enabled access and all, then there may be a chance like there will be, you will make get this type of attack. Someone try to steal your data, or like if we have a database, potential as root effort. So if we have virtual machines also, it will show the same for them. Um, and for the subscription level, microburst exploitation tool it used to extract the keys. So when we create Azure storage account, we have like a private key and a secondary key. So someone will try to exploit and try to steal the key and then try to make the connection and all. So these are the tools, and then we have a virtual machine here. So if we keep the public access open, like a quad 0 for 22 or HTTP or SSH and all, so and or even for RDP, then that's a like open invitation for the brute force attacks. And similarly for here as well, possible SQL injection for the this one. So a couple of these are the alerts. So it will actually notify you, and then you can collect these alerts and you can send these alerts to the SIEM tool like Sentinel, and then you can write like a analytics rule and query the like against the subscription. This subscription, if we get any high alerts, and then monitor it for 5 hours. If we receive any alert count increase more greater than 0, immediately send an alert to the concerned team. So it's a Sentinel. and Azure Sentinel will take care of that. And this is the inventory. So this is actually a place where you can see all your cloud resources here. So it will actually tell these are the resources and these are the network subscription, and then your storage account and the key vault, and then all your subnets and all. And then you here comes to your the security posture. So it will tell all the risk postures and then the regulatory compliance. So as I mentioned about the compliance policies, so the MS Defender actually uses couple of compliance policies like a Defender, and then it will scan all of your resources against these policies, like the one which is showing as a red one. It is quick fix. Storage should not, public access should be allowed. It will actually give me a storage account out of three, five of them are like a public account, a public access enabled. So it is saying, and the private, so one of the key vault, it is showing as a high. And then, as I mentioned, it also covers a lot of compliance policies as well. So environment here, you can see all the policies like um, the Azure Security Benchmark, PCI compliance, ISO, SOC, and then you have like a more standards. So like NIST, UK, so UK standards, Canada, Azure CIS, HIPAA, Swift, and the New Zealand policies related to the New Zealand regions and all. So a lot of policies are there, and then the federal policies as well, and then the Malaysia and the Australian government policies and all. So you have to just add it here, and then it will start adding all the resource. So I have not tried this, but like this, the process is something like this, and then it will just the tenant root group, and then it will create. Okay, it will ask for some parameters. Okay, so this is something that we can do for the MS Defender. So this is what we have for MS Defender for cloud. Any questions on MS Defender for cloud now? All right, as a be running short of time, so I have another tool with me as well. So this is MS Defender for cloud, and I'm coming to the next slide. That is AWS Security Hub. So AWS Security Hub is again act as a both CSPM as a SIEM tool here as well. So as you can see the architecture here, how it works. So it is actually like quickly access your high priority security alerts and security posture across AWS accounts in one comprehensive view. Again, a single pane of window where you can see all the AWS resources. And sorry, and it takes the use of all. Yeah, okay, and it check all the makes use of all the AWS related service like guard duty for threat detection, Amazon Macy to detect any PCI data in your S3 buckets, Amazon Inspector to check the vulnerabilities in your virtual machines, AWS Firewall Manager to detect any kind of attack on your network, a IMXL analysis to check your AWS account, IAM users, roles, and all, and the system managers check the patch compliance and all these things, and other integrated solutions, and it also integrates with the other marketplace solutions also, and it keeps on aggregating the data and show everything in the finding. And then where we have like a conducted automated security check, so it will check all the things, and then we can take an action, like you can create an event bridge rule and then integrate it with config or like a lambda functions to remediate those actions. So I will be showing one of those tasks here, the take action part here. It generates its own finding by running continuous automated security check based on AWS best practices and support industry standards. The supported industry standard is like PCI, HIPAA, and other compliance. And then it correlates and consolidates findings providers to help you prioritize the this thing. So I'm again taking you to the AWS portal posture here. So this is the AWS Security Hub. So it is again like not in sorry for that, it's again like not enabled by default, so you have to enable it. And so, and it uses the services like guard duty, inspector, Macy, and all. So they are also not enabled by default, so you have to enable it, and then you can use it for trial version for 30 days, and then it will the billing will start after that. So as I said, like it will check all the resources. So as I mentioned here, it continuously automated security check on the best practices and the support industry standards. So this is the first thing here. So as you can see the security standards. So it is like a CIS benchmark, AWS benchmark, the PCI compliance, and the foundational security best practices. So out of like 152, it has passed 123 and 29 of the field and the score. And base it's a cumulative all these scores, and then it's out of 33. So 33 resources have not passed the benchmark. So the security posture is 69%. So as we fix all those issues, the posture score will grow up. And on the right side, you can see the resources with more most failed security checks, the account, AWS users, and security hub S3 bucket. And what is the so regions? It will also check the regions. So I've created resources in US East one for now, and then it checked all the resources, and then it categorizes like these 15 are the high, 277 are the like, and then medium, and it gives you the insight here. And passed over the 70 and all, and then S3 buckets with the most finding. So it will give you the bucket name, what are the bucket name and all, and what is the EC2 instance, and the EMI, any bad EMIs and all, and the accounts with severity. So it's the root account and all, and then it's insights, like it comes or cover all the insights and all. And then as I said, like it can be integrated with other APN solutions and other solutions like Card Duty, Inspector, Macy, Health, and Access Analyzer and all. So let me go to the integration here.
Vaibhav, there's a
Yep.
question on the chat. Do you want to take it now? Thank you.
No. So actually, like what CSPM tool does is like this is actually kind of privileges. So Aris, are you able to see this page? So this is actually
Yes.
one of the tool which I have Fuse. So it has actually created the environment in the AWS. So what it does is like you can see it's list the findings, rules and all. It's just getting the list of them, and then it will scan across the policies, the rules and all. So I will be showing that. So it is just, you can see it's like mostly lookup events, list tags, cat, batch star and all, and the list star, but no read write operations here. So it will just get it, and then later on it will assign the permissions for the gateway, API routes, all the routes access and all, what are the versions, what are the resources, what are the methods. So it will scan your API gateway as well, and it will scan your all the AWS resources. So it will be hold, it does the same thing for any other cloud provider like Azure and all. Does it answer your query?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So this is all, like as I said, like it has a lot of integration. So audit manager, firewall manager, guard duty. So it's on enabled. So if you want to enable anything like system patch manager, so it will say, and the trusted advisor, and then it has third party, like you have QA bench and all. So you have to, when you accept findings, so you have to register it with the QA bench, and then it will scan the resources in AWS environment, and then it will give you all the summary of these findings in the page here. So it, because in the latest finding, if you have seen all the tools finding here, so this is finding, and then let me come to the finding. So it gathers all the things. So as you can see, like it gathers the required from the inspector, and then you have a lot of things from inspector, and then you have something from guard duty as well. So yeah, you can see the all the guard duty. So output scan, the data exfiltration or the Bitcoin related things should happen on this one. So it's scanning all these things. So this is for guard duty. So if I see some like a group by product name, Macy. Okay, so it has not shown any Macy results and all, but if you can see here, and then there's a security standard. So it will tell, and it will go to the all the 3 security standards, and then it will give you the results. So it will show you which of the resource did not pass, and this is the insight. So it will check all the insights, like what are the, it's by default, it will come by default, and as soon as you enable other services also, it will create in automatically insights for those. And then this is the finding and the setting. So as of now, I will go to one of the finding here in the guard duty here, right? This on instance is having port 80, which is associated with reachable from the internet. So what I can do is like I can take an action, isolate instance. So what it will do is like this instance is having a 0C1. So let me go to that EC2 instance here. So this is the one of the instance. And then if you look into the security group here, it is open to internet and all. So what I'm going to do some action here, automatically remediation here is like I can isolate the instance here, right? Okay, so it's already sent to the cloud bench and it triggered the Lambda function to isolate the instance. Then what it will do is like it will change the security group to the security group. So it should be done. Yep. So you can see here, earlier it was like a security group and you see the port number 80. So it was actually like now isolated from the resources, and then it will be going to the security team. They will connect and they will see why it is not done. So this way we have like tried to automate. And so in the security hub also, like you can go to the config rules and create the like approved EMI and all, and then it will also show you the findings and all. So this is how security hub. So as we use it more, the you can get more functions, like you can integrate all these custom actions with event rule. So in event rule, I can take you that how I've done is event bridge. I have only 9 minutes left because I have to take up uh, rules here. So this is a event rule. So what I've done is like it will take from the custom action. I've created a custom action in the security hub, and then what is the target? It will has actually just now the target, and then it will be uh, going to your pattern, and then what it will do is like it will call the Lambda function in backend. So when we create the rule, so create the rule here. So I have given the rule name, and that's like so X, Y, Z, and the next, and the target is here is like a service, and then you have a security hub or like a config, and the event type is like compliance change. And then what next? After that, select the target like Lambda function. Then it will list out all the Lambda functions, and then you can enable it. And then when is there any findings enabled, and when you trigger anything, it will go there and enable it for you, and then make changes for you. So as I showed you, like it immediately change the security group for you, and it immediately take it out. Or after some time, when it checks the resources, it will be that instance will be removed from that findings and all. So this is what we have for AWS Security Hub. Any questions for me on the Security Hub? Right. So as I've already mentioned about the cloud agnostic tools. So one of the tool is the Fujoy. So actually I've like we are using actually Sneak for the SaaS tool. So during the demo, we have actually explained about the Fujoy tool. So I got some interest, and then I created my enterprise account there, a trial account, and then I tried to do it. So this is actually the Fujoy. So it's what it is, like one of the CSPM tool. So here it is like I've created the 3 environments. So when we create a new this structure page, when you create an environment, it will allow you to only the 4 cloud providers, like AWS government cloud, that's for America, and then this Google Cloud and Azure. So for so suppose if you have AWS, and then it will ask you to create a role here. So I have shown you this role. So it will actually create this role for you. and it will get all the resources, and then you have all the subnets. So it will include all the resources for now. But like if you are working in a couple of regions only, like US East one or Mumbai region or any other region of your choice, you can select a subset here. So it can select it, and then you have to run recommend matlab, include all the recommend resource types, means like all the AWS services, or so what all it covers. So it will cover all these many services, fine. But if you want out of these services, if you want this thing, and then you just go continue, it will ask you to create role, and then once you create role, it will create an environment, and then it will scan. So I've already done this part. So I have only 5 minutes left, so I will quickly show this one, so how it looks like. So it will again scan all the resources. So it will give you a nice overview of this one, and then it will give you like what are the compliant resources, and what are the, it will filter the resources as per their type, and the regions which I've selected, like EP South one, East one, West one, and the keywords, and then so let the, and this is for the resource type. So these are the resource, and these are the by the compliance by the control. And you can see like when did the last scan, so it runs the scan every day on daily, and what are the compliance families, 13 families are there. So it selects all the policies like your custom rules, SOC, HIPAA, and all policies, and then you have like whether you have to enforce these policies, and how the report should come by email, and the general scan. So what it will do, it will scan all the resources, and then you have an option to enforce this as well. So if you have to enforce, then you have to give additional rights to the resource to make those changes. So it's based on your use cases. Right. And then when I go to the non-compliant resources here, so it will say like a couple of unapproved AMI rule. So no rules applied. So it scanned all the resources, and then I created one of the test cluster in my account. So what it does, like it's give a recommendation, like the log groups, the where we store the AWS EKS rules. Okay, so cloud it will encrypt by default. So it will, so as we are not using these resources, we can say wave off, or like suppose if we have a lambda function, right? So lambda functions again sending all the, so all the actions and all, and should we have a KMS keys and all. So it will scan all the resources. So it will do the same thing, and then if you have a visualizer here, it will give you a pictorial presentation of your resources, like which region, and this red one is like your resources. So which resource it is, and then what are the compliance failed here. So it will give you a more idea like which resource it is, and then your, so this is my S3 bucket, right? So S3 bucket is like a public access blocks and all. So it will check all the properties, and it will display all the properties here. So this is how a CSQM tool works. And these are the events, like it has sent an event, it has like modified. So I have just modified the instance here. It just checked it, and then the baseline. So what are the baseline you want to set? All the policies baseline and all, and then you have the report. So these are the reports, and it will take compliance posture dashboard. I'm not sure whether this will come. Okay, it may take some time to show the data for now. And you can also send the policies via email. So I've already got an email, like as soon as you are done, it will send you compliance notification. So this security group to new non compliant, and then you can go to the page and then check the resource, which resource it is. So here it is showing the pictorial representation, the rules by policies, AWS EC2 and all, and we can have the similar thing for the other compliance. So as I go to another environment here, okay. So this is like I have done it for the Azure. So in Azure also it will do the same thing. It will show again the same compliance by the resource group. So non-compliant resources will be listed out here. So suppose this is a Azure Key Vault. So as we see already in the audit log event should be happened and the soft deletion should be there. So these are the compliant policies, and for the same for other rules as well. And then you have the rules here. This is one of the parts where you can have some control on creating the audit report. So it has all the policies. So it will actually, container should not have a public access. So if it's enabled, it's a critical severity defined by the vendor itself. Like the DNS man should have not RSHA1. Compute instance should not have default service account with cloud API. This is mainly for, I guess, Google Cloud Platform for now. And the EC2 instance should use IAM rules instance profile instead of IAM access keys to perform requests. So this is one of the practice, like we attach the IAM instance profile to the system, and the EBS volume should always be enabled. So it should be enabled. So whatever instance like you're creating, the volumes should have encryption enabled on it. So it will check all the policies, and it will let me come to the GCP as well. So I'm just will not take more than 1 or 2 minutes of yours. So it's checking all the resources, and it will show the compliant, non-compliant resources as well. So one of the rules is like SSH is open to internet. So we can see here SSH is open to internet. So it's created and it got picked up by the tool itself. And then so, and this is a process like the default network should be have generates the insecure and all. So it should not be configured and all. So lot of these rules it will say, and it will say non-compliant. So based on that we can take an action, and then it will run scan every day based on the frequency, and then it will scan against the policy standards and give you a pictorial view of your all the accounts, how it looks like, all the visualizer like this. So how many resources are there? These are the bucket and the service account and all. And it's in the service account, it gives one error for that service account. What's the attribute? What's the unique ID? Compliance should not comply with your secret compliance. High severity because it's a special Google account, belongs to an application. So these are the service account. It failed the 5 compliance policies. So once we fix this, and then the policies will run again, and then it will be marked as a fixed for now. So this is what I have for the CSPM at this moment. So any questions for me?
Yeah, hi Vaibhav. Sabyasachi here. Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Vaibhav, as you shown to us, like for AWS House, also we can set that CSPM kind of configurations, and from the Fuge app, we kind of set up the configuration for AWS, Azure, GCP, and all. So is that the only main difference? Like we can use the Fuge app for configuring in the all the well-known cloud applications, or we can use the simple AWS Security Hub for setting up the
You so it's like it's not a hard and fast rule, like you need to go for a third-party app like a cloud agnostic third-party solutions, or like you can go for the uh, cloud native solutions like AWS Security or for MS Defender in Azure. So it's like but it's a must tool have like to make sure like your all the resources should have compliance. So if you go with the AWS Security Hub, so you can have all the things as I explained here. It has have all the reports available with you, and then you can take an action. And then as I showed you that you can create a custom action, and then you can trigger the event, and then it will trigger the Lambda function to fix all the things. So it's based on the customer to customer, but like All the like third party or like even the cloud agnostic tools does the same thing. They use the cloud API with the read access only, and then will scan all the resources with the policies and give you a pictorial view or like a dashboard view where you can see. So as you've seen, like I have like all the findings from guard duty and all. So I need not have to go to the guard duty findings and Amazon inspector guard duty or MAC findings and all. I can see all those things, and then I can go to finding, and I can see what alert it is, and then I can create a event bridge rule, create a rule events with event, and then trigger a Lambda function or send a notification as well, like that. So it's depends on your use case and what level of security you want, the visibility you want it. Most of the tools like cloud native tools prevent this, shows this one. So as it's here, it's again showing everything, all the resources I have at this moment. The Fuse will also show, but the cloud native tools will provide more compatibility to integrate it with their own DevOps tools like Azure Functions or Lambda and all, as I showed in case of uh, Security Hub, and I can trigger a logic app to send a notification to the concerned team. So like this. So that is what.
Understood. Understood. Vaibhav.
Yeah. Any question?